Hello everybody, it is Sunday the 23rd of October. I want to talk about the wrath of the saints that is coming with New Jerusalem and the judgment that will come at the end of that book. And as I see it, it is a build-up of energy, of negative energy that is finding an outlet that really it shouldn't have. And that we keep saying, we are the ones we are waiting for. Well, maybe not quite in that form, because that I believe that to be partly us. But I want to show you that in the end, and how we really must get an understanding of our own energies. We must see what they were meant to do, because we are judging them and we're suppressing them, and we are, I think, not understanding our own energies. I still don't quite understand it, but I know what is wrong. That is what I want to show you here, the wrong way. But not quite sure about the right way now, yet. I'm thinking about that. But just to show you the wrong way. And the right way, well, is really the Mother, Father, God, the Adam and Eve, the rational thought, the rational understanding of what is, and can go on into imagination, and the emotional energy. Yeah, they're both energies, but created in different ways. And they both have desires. They both create desires. And it is really coming into agreement with one another, so that you have two desires that come into, put their energies together. And it is like the two stones falling into the pond in unison that will create a far bigger wave of energy than either stone would have done on its own. That is the correct way. But we seem to be never getting there. But I want to look at the negative energies and what they can work, and how you can have a build-up of negative energy on its own, or any energy really on its own, but I'm going to look at the negative one. That would probably create an energy big enough to do something on its own, void of reason. So what do we do with this negative energy that's inside of? We're judging it. We've been told to judge fear, anger, all of those negative energies. So what do we do then? We could keep them suppressed inside of us. Yeah, judge them and keep them suppressed. And if they come up, press them down again. And if we do that for long enough, they cause disease. In the materialistic world, they will cause disease, and they will finally kill you. So somehow we need to do something with them, other than just beating them down and beating ourselves up for it. Now, one thing that can happen, what I can see in this world, is that if they become too strong, they start driving this body. That is to say, you are actually giving this energy a works. The negative energy, you're giving it a works. Beat up your neighbor. Or it's being used in a big way right now, where there's a big build-up of negative energy, and then that energy is being given a target, and then the mob goes into and tears down the city center. Again, void of reason. They might have some vague idea why they're there. You know, that's climate change, or go up against the bankers or the elites, the oppressors of the masses, whatever. There's some vague idea there what it is they're doing, but I mean, they are driven by that energy, and if you see the destruction, it is indiscriminate. It really is not attached to any reason whatsoever. So that's a way, and that is in the materialistic way, and the understanding of that, what they're using is psychology. I think we're not quite on the level of spirituality yet. So spiritual knowing of pretty much the same situation where you have a lot of people together on one feeling, and you give it a works, but not working it through your own body, but projecting it onto somebody else. And that was worked in the Old Testament in a big way. That the Spirit went before them, which was the spirit of fear and of uncertainty, and they projected that onto their enemies. Their enemies felt fear, it weakened them. And of course, if it's out of you and in something else, it would strengthen you and it would weaken your enemy. And again, that knowledge was made Lord in the end. But of course, you have to serve that Lord in fear. That is to say, you have to feel fear in order to project it. I mean, you have to have the energy in order to project it onto something else. So that is already working on a spiritual level. That is, you're directing your energies outside of yourself, from person to person. And I think unconsciously we're doing that ourselves quite often, where we project an energy onto somebody else. And sometimes they crumble, you know, and they easily, you know, your wrath or something will just overwhelm them and they will crumble, or you might get it reflected back at you. And I think over a period of time, sooner or later, you will have it reflected back at you. So that's, again, maybe not the best use for our negative energy. Of course, here came Jesus, the Prince of Peace, who also condemned the negative energy, obviously, you know, put it in a bottomless pit. Well, how did he work this? What did he do with that energy? You know, if it isn't somebody in a big way, well, still, you can project it onto something else, you know, like a herd of swine. And then, again, another really good use of our negative energies. We can drown pigs by the thousands. Probably not. But, and here comes, there may be another dimension to this. And as I said in my videos before, I think it is a dimension they had not considered to be real. Because they had not considered in all of their science the field and quantum possibilities in the field. So, and as I said, when you use the word dimension, please use Occam's razor. You know, use as little information as you need to come to a conclusion, and the littlest information is in the meaning of the word dimension itself. It means there might be another aspect to the situation. So there's an aspect to the situation that they had not considered, which was the field, which is only now really coming into awareness, that thinking. And there, what we're looking at and now we're full on in the realm of miracles, is a projection of that energy, of the negative energy, of wrath, the wrath of the saints, and a thought of revenge. And instead of projecting that into pigs or other people or whatever, or tearing down the high street or crumbling, curling up and dying, it's been used in faith, in a prayer, and directed toward heaven, and that is to say, into the field. And it will maybe manifest a form, and actually something that has life, quite possibly, because we're given it an emotion and a thought. So we're given it both of those energies, the thought being for revenge and the emotional energy being wrath. And our imagination doesn't even have to become involved, because we've been given the picture. You know, the horsemen coming out of the clouds. I mean, it's totally irrational, but here you go. Again, if that can happen, if we can really en masse project this thing into the field to create a reality, and then that reality is totally detached from us. We have no more, we've just given birth to something, and we have no more control over that than we have over our own children. It has got a life of its own. And what we've created is a very strong emotion, and well, it's not void of reason, but it's only got one thought, and that is revenge. And I'd say what we have created then is again a mob, about on the same level as the mob. It will go and indiscriminately do what it feels and thinks. So where does this build up of energy actually come from? Where does the wrath of the saints actually come from? And it comes, as I said, from the suppression of our own emotional energy. We are building that. We are suppressing it because we've been told to judge it. We've been told it is bad. Yeah? And if we're being told to do something that goes against our emotion, it provokes anger in us. It provokes fear in us. Beat it down. It's the will of God. You're an idiot. You don't know any better. Just joyfully do what you're being told to do. Don't reason. Just do as you're told. And we're not working with our own truth, because that emotion is our truth in that moment. That's our truth. And don't go by your own knowing. Whatever you do, suppress it. And that will create the build-up of energy. And at some point it has to go somewhere, because energy will need to go somewhere. Yeah? Whether it's going into killing yourself, or it's going into destructive behavior, just big let loose of energy, burn down the place, or you project it onto something else, but it will need to go somewhere to do works. So where does that leave us? And that is really the understanding of what that negative energy is supposed to do, because this is obviously not it. And if you think that everything was created from the light and everything is of the Creator, and that the Creator is that which wants to sustain life, give to life and sustain life, then there must be some way of using that energy that is good. But here is, again, where the woman and the husband come together knowing each other. First of all, they have to understand each other. So the rational mind has to understand the emotional energy to see how it is really, male and female have to understand each other, which is a hell of a task. But it is a work that needs to be done so that we can come together, so that our two parts can come together and we can become a truly spiritual being that is working its own energies in the correct way. And that is not being used by us being, told what to think, build up our own energies in the wrong way, and then being triggered and let loose. Anyway, that is what I need to think about, what we need to understand, what I need to understand. And then we will come to a way where we understand each other's desires, or where they understand each other's desires, where the rational thought and understands the emotions, the desires of the emotions, and vice versa, and they can come together in an agreement that is built on understanding. Anyway, I think I leave it at that for today, and if I reach a conclusion, I'll let you know. Talk to you soon. Bye.